The Maggid of Yerushalayim, Rav Shlomo Shwadran, told the following story. The years of World War I were the worst for the poor of Yerushalayim. Much of the community subsisted on charitable contributions from European Jewry, but most of those funds were choked off as the Allies fought the Axis, which included the Ottoman Empire, controlling the Holy Land. Well, at one point, the following story took place. A poor couple sent a young child to the grocery store with a few coins for some basic supplies. And when he returned with the groceries and some change, his parents realized that somehow he had taken a valuable gold coin that they had been saving as their nest egg. They immediately ran to the grocer and explained the mistake, and he denied ever receiving such a coin. And the parents knew he must have received it, and they pushed their case. The grocer was adamant, the passions grew, and there were charges, and there were countercharges, and there were Batei Din, Jewish courts that convened to consider the charges. The case became the talk of the town. Each side had its army of supporters, nothing was resolved, a lot of bitterness remained. 10 years later, a newcomer to Yerushalayim sought out the grocer and the parents. He could explain everything. He had been living in Yerushalayim at the time, and he had no food to offer his own young family. He saw a child walking in the street holding a gold coin, and he couldn't resist the temptation. He found a way to distract the child and to exchange another coin for the gold one. Says Rav Shwadran, by now, all the protagonists in this story have gone over to the next world. You want to know where they are? I'll tell you. The grocer is in Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. He was entirely blameless. Even what he did afterwards against his accusers was understandable. The parents, they're in Gan Eden also. They weren't unjustified in suspecting the grocer of theft. They were wrong, but not unreasonable. Even the thief, said Rav Shwadran, is in Gan Eden. His repentance was long, thorough, and heartfelt. But there were others involved. All those who joined the fight, who took sides in a dispute that was not really their concern. Rav Shwadran said, you know where they are? They all went to Gehenna, to hell, and they will never get out. The Maggid's story illustrates what a community can accomplish if it's united for the wrong reasons. A community is capable of great destruction. Businesses, reputations, individuals, leaders, institutions, and the members of such a community will pay a stiff price for their actions. But a community can also accomplish incredible good. A community can provide meals for people who are ill. A community can create institutions, a Jewish family and children's services, a mikveh, a JAX, a UJA, a Vada Kashrus. A community can take care of a widow, a widower, a divorcee. A community can protect and educate its children. A community can support the needy. A community can learn Torah together. And a community can daven together. About 12, 13 years ago, on a UJA trip to Israel, I had a chance to go with a few other people to daven Vasikin, sunrise prayer at the Kotel. In Vasikin prayer, you start before sunrise, and you time it so that you reach Shema just before sunrise, and the Amidah, the Shemona Esrei, as the sun is coming over the horizon. We walked down rainy, slick roads through a quiet city, down to the Kotel, and into a cavernous room off to the side of the main plaza. In contrast with the quiet streets, this cave was alive. It was bustling with people, full of the noise of people praying under harsh fluorescent lights. The room smelled of sweat, of rain, of old books, of ancient stone. All kinds of people davened in that room, mostly intense men with black coats and long beards, but there was a soldier with a rifle on his back. There were Anglos, tourists, Israelis, knitted yarmulkes, all crammed together despite the great size of the room. People circulated asking for tzedakah, some of them asking more than once, others honestly telling us if we had given them already. A few people sat in the back munching breakfast. The davening was loud, and its volume increased as sunrise approached. 5 or 6 different minyanim were going simultaneously, but without a clear geographic demarcation between the groups. We couldn't pick out the voice of the chazan for any specific minyan, so we just kind of went at our own pace. But eventually, the pace of all the minyanim began to coalesce. We all reached the Baruch Hu that precedes Shema within a few minutes of each other, synchronized by clocks on tables around the room. And then came Shema. It was loud, a cacophony, each person with his own with his own accent, his own tone, his own needs, thoughts, concerns. It felt like I could hear everyone's voice except my own. And then at one sudden instant, there was an utter silence. Everyone began the silent Amidah simultaneously. At that instant, no one talked, no one asked for spare change, nothing. Just silent prayer. Each individual engaged in a personal conversation with Hashem. I started to cry. It was so beautiful. The silence lasted 3 minutes, maybe 5, before the noise of personal prayer resumed. But in those few minutes I understood what a community can accomplish together, even as each one is saying their own prayer. We can reach that height on Yom Kippur. All of us have reason to daven. We face disease, our own friends, relatives. We face job situations, family crises, depression, spiritual loneliness, the situation in Israel, crises around the world. We have reason to daven as a community. On Yom Kippur night, we'll read the words, Ya'aleh tachanunenu me'erev, may our supplications ascend in the evening, and urge our prayers heavenward as a community. We will say the words, Ki hinei kachomer biyad hayotzer, acknowledging that we are as clay in the hands of the potter as a community. We will speak the words, La'avon banecha bal yecherez za'amecha, do not let your anger be ignited at the sins of your children, and we will daven for mercy as a community. We will say the words, Yehi ratzon milfanecha shelo echta od, may it be your will that I never sin again, and commit ourselves to improvement as a community. We are capable of so much, for good, like that sunrise minyan at the wall, and the opposite, as in the story of the grocer. Let us come together, let us daven together, V'ya'aleh tachanunenu me'erev, and our prayers for ourselves and for each other will ascend to God in heaven together.